Hey guys, today I'm doing just a little mini coaching with this guy Carnival, maybe Carnival, depending on how his name's
Carnival,
pronounced.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Carnival. Okay, and he is currently Diamond 4, and we're just kind of looking at what he might be able to do to bump that up a little bit. I know climbing around Diamond was one of my challenging areas. It got a lot easier when I got into Masters, but yeah, so we're just gonna kind of look over this a little bit and see what we can do. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. I used to casting for Cheer League. I think that's about my only notable Heroes of the Storm accomplishment, other than just really playing a lot of games. Like my goal has been to hit Master, and I've just been smashing my head against the wall for a couple of years now, trying to do that, and I've just not quite been able to do that. Um, so I'm turning to coaching for some help. Yeah, I climbed a few ranks recently. Honestly, after watching your video where you said communication was the key to carrying as support, I mean that really helped a bunch. That was really fantastic, and I do appreciate that. But I got to Diamond 3 with that, and I just kind of been stuck there all week. Despite taking a look at my replays and identifying things, working on them. Um, it's still been a challenge to climb from that point. So, but want to see what else I could do.
Yep, sounds great. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear. Is just like people that are trying to improve. And I like there's a few things. I'll start up the game. We can kind of get into it, but there's a few things that I always mention when people are trying to carry to masters. Is like, especially when you're a support main, drafting is like so big. Like
Right.
picking Stukov on like maps that you've got four people in a fight all the time is it could be just the difference alone.
Yeah,
So
I've not had a lot of luck with Stukov. I do want to say though, I do feel like I am absolutely getting a lot better. I just haven't seen the ranks reflect that. Like my entire career, I've been like high plat, low diamond the entire time. And despite the fact that I feel like I have gotten a lot better during that stretch.
yeah,
So like this was weird. Like they went through that choke, and I'm just like, guys, I can't get to you. I
the
don't know
only
what to
thing you
do.
could have done, there's just like kind of a small thing, is you could walk a little bit closer and drop a root, just so that like the only person that got through was one of them, and your team still could have gotten away. But yeah, you don't really want to fight in this, and you don't have vision anywhere in this triangle bush, so it's really risky for you to do anything. So I would just recommend trying to go over to the left and see if you can catch your team, toss down a root, and maybe save them.
Okay.
Yeah, this right here is
I think I
really
try and
risky.
do that.
I would really recommend just going the left, the safe way, the way that Cassia
Okay.
went.
Yeah.
Just because, again, you didn't know where anyone was, and I just wouldn't want to see you just get polyed and then dropped like the second you
Right.
get in that bush.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. It's a good route. It split them up, made them have to think twice. This little bit jumping in back and forth. I would make sure that you can get some regrowths off in that time, which I don't know if you do or not. Which you get one, so that's good. Just make sure that you're landing W's, which you're doing. That's fine. I would be pinging people back though. Like when they're going in all with low health, I would be trying to ping them back.
Right. I may have been saying it in voice.
Oh
I don't
yeah. I
recall,
forgot
for
that.
sure.
I can't hear any of that. So.
Yeah.
Then go to soaking. Seems like everyone's going for soaking.
Yep. Everyone was upset that Zag was not going top. She was afraid of getting ganked by Kerrigan, but then Kerrigan's bot with her anyway.
Yeah,
So it's
really, what should happen is, yes, Kerrigan should go top. Because mid and bot are so close to each other, you can roam back and forth really easily. While top, you have to kind of go off in like a weird direction and everything, and you can soak it really safe just because you could pretty much sit in the back. So that's what should happen, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's hard to explain that.
Mhm.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, see, that's what this is
Okay,
saying.
another
She
thing
gets
right
ganked
here is
easily.
when Kerrigan already shows up bottom, that's the only person you really need to worry about ganking you. You can play really aggressive with Malfurion right here, just because you can out heal the damage that Hanzo does. So you could pretty much just sit on him, W him, and keep him out of lane.
Okay.
Because your W costs like 10 mana, so
Yeah, and yeah, it's
yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, they didn't have enough damage to finish you off, so yep, and you're doing the W's really well. I mean, just use it every time it's off cooldown, and you're doing that perfectly. I think a lot of it is like as a support main, really it's going to come down to draft. Malfurion fits in most situations, but yeah, this chat is real. I would be I would be trying to tell them
I was
to just,
doing my best to keep the peace here.
the
but
best
yeah,
bet is to tell them to mute it and move on, you know, and see if like even Diablo's just sad face. Like I don't even
right, right.
I don't really like those routes. I prefer doing routes in directions that people are going to go or areas to zone. I don't really like these open routes usually, but again, that's
Yeah, I've been
small.
trying to get away from that.
Small plays, you know, nothing. That's not going to make a difference, you know. But if you had a route, it's easier to route near their like their wall, so that like as they're trying to leave, they get rooted, and then Zeratul might have been able to get a kill there if you had root up.
Yeah, like what I found is like when I waste roots like that, like then I don't have it for a better situation later on, like right there. Yeah, so like it's 15-second cooldown, I think. So like if I waste it, then I don't have it to peel. I don't have it 14 seconds.
Yeah,
but yes, I don't have it in a better situation that comes up.
This is kind of weird. You're about to take bottom, so you should just be prepared to interrupt mid first, and then you should go and help either bottom lane or top lane so that you can keep it at all times. But you don't really need to be there. The way that he has this wave pushed is it's going to stay on their side for a long time, so you won't be missing out on soak. So your best bet is just interrupt for a second and then go bottom and see if you can help them. Which it looks like that's pretty much what you were going for, so that's fine.
Yeah. There's a situation that comes up in a little bit where there's kind of a miscommunication. I think it's about to happen.
Yeah. Also,
like
the roots.
I think
like,
Diablo's coming mid. Like he's not on comms. You know, he's like typing and stuff. I think he's coming mid, so I go bot to help, and then Diablo goes bot too, and then they get a free drag, and everyone's pissed.
Yeah, and like the root there, again, this is kind of a small thing, but root's like the only thing that has a mana cost, really. Like regrowth is like 30, and then you've got Moonfire that's 10, and then you have entangling roots at 75, and it's like it's the only thing that really is mana inefficient. So doing a root on someone that you know isn't going to lead to a kill. There was no way you were going to get a kill on that Hanzo.
Right.
I just don't think it was really worth the time. You can get quick pokes on him with W's, but I really wouldn't waste a root.
Right.
Just because, again, it's going to cost you mana, and it's going to get really risky. I would go on the right side right here and just immediately drop a root into that bush, because that kills Brightwing. And if that doesn't kill Brightwing, it zones out Muradin, so you can get this without Muradin going in. Do you see how? I mean, you did it, but it was on cooldown from above there, so it's kind of risky. What do you think about the broccoli, the angry broccoli, the vengeful roots talent?
I mean, it's I don't use it personally, but like I know it's good like for sieging, because like it'll suck up a couple of tower shots. But yeah, it doesn't seem like the damage doesn't seem significant. You know, it's less area, so it's less zoning,
I get
less
that.
control.
What I find when I'm trying to carry as Malfurion is the vengeful roots is the only way that you personally can solo kill someone. And the way that you do it is at level 10, you need about 20 stack, not 20 stacks. You need like 10 to 12 stacks. And you get your Twilight Dream, and you can literally root someone, Twilight Dream them, and then just hit them with a couple autos, a couple W's, and if your Treant's attacking them, it'll kill them. Because you got to remember that it's increasing his basic attack by 7 every time you get it, and he already does 65 DPS. lasts for usually. Here's the other thing. Here's the reason I recommend this. If the enemies don't have like a Blaze, an Arthas, or a Dahaka who will kill it on accident, it's kind of a must. And they don't have any of those. The only person that's going to kill it on accident is maybe like Kerrigan when she ults, Leoric when he ults, or Hanzo with his W. But if your Broccoli eats 2 hits by a W, it kind of did its job anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would recommend it in this situation, as it would be a lot easier to get kills. Also, it does speed up sieging a little bit, because if you get it stacked, I mean, 10 stacks is pretty easy to get, and that literally doubles its damage. And it ends up being like 150 DPS, which is pretty good. It's more DPS than your auto attacks are. So
yeah, I have a question. So if I'm thinking about going that route, do I go Celestial Attunement at 1, the increased auto damage?
No, only go that if you're a solo laner. So the higher ranks you get as a support main, you'll find that you have to you'll get double supports here and there, because like I was playing a little bit ago, and I was playing with Iacona, and if you ever see Iacona on the Grandmaster leaderboard, his play literally says 100% support. And I wasn't paying attention. I was first pick, and I wasn't paying attention to the players on my team. So I just grabbed Malfurion, and I realized that I had Iacona on my team, and he picked a support. So I was like, oh, that's awkward. So I went Celestial Attunement just because I knew that I was going to have to solo lane. Because he wasn't going to solo lane. So
because I was looking at the win rate on it, and like it actually has, I think, the highest win rate.
It's because it's picked so few times that you kind of need to do it. Like when you do pick it, it's usually because you're in a very specific situation. But Nature's Swiftness should be picked for 2 reasons. One, for your own mobility so you can get out of fights. But the other reason is if you move faster than all the enemies, you can always land a root. Meaning you can always move faster than them and get a root in front of them. So you'll always land a root. So I think it's a must. Like the reason that its win rate is lower is because people don't know why it's picked. They think it's just to get out of fights. And it's not. It's so that you can land roots.
Yeah, and I think that was me until I watched one of your videos where you kind of laid that out. So
yeah, I actually had a whole, like, I did that Stukov one, how to carry to Masters with Stukov. I did an entire one for Malfurion, and my hard drive crashed.
Oh, that sucks.
I just rewound a little bit, but we're gonna. Actually, I might have sped that up. Yeah, I sped that up. My bad. All right. We'll continue on. I was just kind of talking about the talent. Now at level 7, what do you normally get?
It depends on like if they have like stuns or roots. So like here they have Kerrigan, so like obviously it's Nature's Cure.
Yeah, I definitely would get it for Kerrigan. It's a little bit weird though. So here's kind of the problem with it. Why I don't like this one over Cleanse is while it hits more than one person, the stun from Kerrigan, once she lands that, you're already screwed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Cleanse, you can stop the pull itself, but I don't personally like Nature's Cure just because it only removes them.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
But
and like there's a situation like later in the game where there's like a chain CC thing that happens, and like it just does nothing. Like I think it actually doesn't even work on Polymorph at all.
Yeah,
because like Polymorph
it does not work with Polymorph. It's really frustrating. It doesn't work with Taunt either. So it's just a really frustrating. Oh, that's pretty decent jukes in there. Yeah, just remember that they don't actually have the damage to kill you yet, so you can feel free to play really aggressive in here. And when he pings, you should be going in for a root. Like again, they still don't have enough damage to kill you, and they're both really aggressive right now. So you should be immediately rooting, specifically Brightwing, because his only way to get out is his teleport. And as of right now, Diablo still has a way to interrupt the teleport if you're the one that roots. But if Diablo has to initiate, then you lose the only way that stops him from... Because if Diablo smashes him against a wall, then Hanzo's just going to hop over a wall, and Brightwing's going to jump to Hanzo, and they're both out. So you have to be the one to make this initiation, or your team doesn't get any kills. So...
I see.
Yeah, just playing a little too safe. Definitely could have saved Diablo and led to another kill.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, like these small things are things that, like, while all of these will help out and you'll see them in a replay, it's kind of hard to actually get used to doing these in your games. So what I recommend doing a lot of times is Picking a couple characters that you want to like really master, go into unranked and play as aggressive as you possibly can to see what works and what doesn't work. You'd be amazed at how strong you can actually be if you're playing really aggressive. So like, particularly with Malfurion, like just going in there and just see how much damage you can take while having a regrowth on yourself and healing yourself. Like it's amazing, and that's a great route right there. Even burn to cleanse for no reason.
What was I gonna say? Oh, and like that's always a good trade for me too, right? Because I'm Malfurion, like I can just Q myself, and like it's gonna heal up all that damage for like 10 mana or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, like I essentially you regen like 15 mana per second, so your W literally doesn't even take any mana. And did you end up getting? Yeah, you did get Nature's Cure. Yeah, it's tough. I had this whole argument with another guy. He's a pro player, and we were talking about Nature's Cure, and it went back and forth for a while. But I feel like the stuns are just too short to not be able to like, pre-predict things and not get the unstoppable. Great route.
Yeah, it's like something where it's like if Varian like let's say it did work on taunt, but like Varian goes and taunts someone, you know, the Leaming Orb comes out, like deletes them. Like I feel like half the time, even if you cleanse that, like it
the one time
like,
that I'll
they're
pretty
already being
much
focused.
Yeah, the one time I'll pretty much always pick it is Blaze. His E's stun is very long, like it's a second and a half or something, and it hits like 3 people, and it's usually your front line that you have regrowths on anyways. So Blaze jumps in with a stun, and you immediately cleanse the stun.
Right.
That's the only time that I really like it, but yeah, I don't know. So right here's another situation. Brightwing could be dead if you just positioned better. You have 3 people who can do a lot of damage, and you have more movement speed than the enemies. So if you just move to your right and you can drop a root right in front of them, Brightwing's dead. Now, Murden gets out, of course, but use your movement speed to your advantage. Like, you can position a lot more aggressively, and once you do them here, like, it's kind of wasted.
Right.
You want to make sure that your team's going in when you do your roots.
Okay.
And you're out of mana too, so I would always like ping that to your team. And you can also, I believe you alt left click a fountain and it tells you when your next fountain is. I'm not positive on that, but I know there was a way to do the fountain as well.
I know it's something people have wanted for a long time, but I think it might be in now.
It might be. I don't know. I feel like I've seen it, but I might be thinking of a different game. All right, so you got your mana back. Coming back into lane. Another thing, like, if you're in ranks that you feel like you could be a lot higher, I sometimes like Rhaegar, because you can play a lot more aggressive. You can jump on people. You can toss totems behind them to slow them and pretty much guarantee kills by yourself. You can soak waves faster, as well as you can do camps on your own. So, like, if everyone's just kind of, like, sitting bot lane and nothing's getting done, you could just walk over, grab a camp, and then come back bot lane again. So, I do recommend maybe practicing Rhaegar. And Stukov's a must. There's some maps where Stukov, like, Braxis, for example, his win rate's, like, 55%. Like, you need to have Stukov.
Not for me, but yeah, I gotta work on him. Yeah, I do have a lot of experience with Rhaegar. Like, I just ever since like support Apocalypse, you know, I haven't really played him much.
Again, the root, what purpose? You got to be careful about those roots because that's what's causing you to get out of mana in these fights. Is like these random roots. You guys weren't gonna kill a Murden right there. He could still jump out. So you got to be really careful.
I think I wasn't aware of who was around. I thought there might be more people around.
Oh, they were all in. Yeah, they were all in vision, but
zoning.
No worries. Here's another thing too. The first thing I noticed when that dragon came down, look who's in the dragon. It's their healer.
Yeah, I pointed it out.
So if you can just get them low, they have no healing now. You can actually kill this this Murden right now because you can drop a heal on Cassia. You can root him, and then you can wait until the root's almost over and silence him so he doesn't jump out. It's a kill. He has no way of surviving it. I mean, he's got Avatar, but I think if you can time the silence just right, he's dead. But they have no heals, so you should be poking as much as you can. They have enough damage to kill you, but you should be focusing on poking them down because they will need to leave the fight. So you should be a lot more aggressive with the W's for sure.
Okay.
Like Muradin shouldn't be getting that passive healing off.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, I could have rooted him earlier if I didn't waste it earlier.
Yeah, it's the roots is something you'll definitely need to work on.
Yeah.
This is awkward.
And I think our focus here is really bad. It's like we know it's Brightwing in there, like we want to kill, but like we don't know who to kill.
I really like the Twilight for several reasons. Brightwing had an escape with his heal, and all he needed to do was have Kerrigan walk back, and he would have been perfectly fine. And you silenced him, so he couldn't get that off, and it led to a kill. While Kerrigan was running away, she didn't realize what was going on. So I liked the Twilight. I think one or two.
I got griefed there.
You got griefed?
Yeah, like I put down the roots, and then Diablo knocked him out of it.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. But a lot of people like they don't like seeing like Twilights on only one or two people, but oftentimes I find those are the most efficient ones.
Right.
Like waiting to get the perfect Twilight only happens like once every other game. So just getting easy Twilights that guarantee a kill or two and give you a lead, that's what always works for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Especially on a squirrely character like Brightwing who has all kinds of escapes. Like just secure the kill.
Okay, your team is going for something here. This is something that you'll want to approach, and your abilities can hit over the wall, but not regrowth. So I mean, it can, but its range is kind of low. I would try your best to get up there. Yeah, you don't want to waste too much time. You want to be up there and help them out. Yeah, root's definitely the first thing you want to do, because if they go on the point, they're smashed into a wall, so that's perfect. And again, just quick W. So yeah, you played that really well.
Thanks. Kind of wish that Zera had dropped the Void Prison like right before the APOC ended. Could have gotten a little more.
Yeah, you guys have a really
stun out.
You have a really strong combo with Root, APOC, and Void Prism. But it's also Hero League, so that doesn't always work out. You see a cool combo, it never works out how you want it to.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Always speed up camps with W. It takes like no mana, so every time it's off cooldown, you use it. Okay. I personally recommend having W going, or sorry, not W, your trait every time it's up. I know a lot of people like to save it for like fights, but I see your W's up quite a bit. You may want to make sure that that's going off cooldown more. Again, Brightwing's dead. Yeah. You move faster than him, so make sure to get regrowths out and get in a position where Brightwing can't get out. Like, he doesn't have any escapes, especially when his only ally is in front of him. So root behind him, walk up, and use a Twilight. He's dead. Twilight does what, like 1/6 of his health, damage, I think. Yeah, it's 640 damage. How much health does Brightwing have? I don't think it'll tell me. Let me. 2,500. So yeah, I mean that's doing a little bit more than 1/5 of his health. So it should definitely, again, root in the direction. Perfect. There's only one direction she can go. You rooted exactly where she should go, or where she can go. I would be willing to even Twilight here, honestly. Yeah.
And I said it in comms, like I did Twilight because I had used the roots.
Yeah, no,
if I saved the roots for
she could have ulted. She could have ulted, and then someone could have walked down. She could have hopped to him. You know, I don't know what talent she has, but oh, she doesn't even have the talent where she could hop to allies. But still, it's again, I think that's exactly what I would have done. Like, but by the time there's a fight that's gonna happen, you guys are already ahead because she's dead, and you won't even need it.
Yeah,
again,
like
Brightwing's in a position you can kill him with root. I mean, you probably could get the Dragon Knight here. I just don't really like healers getting it, and I would rather you just get another kill here. But because of the timing where Hanzo's going to be grabbing that, you should at least try. So let's see what happens. And yeah, so Hanzo got it first. So, and again, you move faster than them. You should be rooting where Brightwing's going every single time. And Murden just used his leap, and he's out of mana, and he already has Avatar down. A route where they're going is a guaranteed double kill here. But the problem is you weren't positioned to get it off in the right time, so they end up both getting out. You know what I mean? Like, you should be positioned so much more aggressively to where the only place that they can go, you can place a route right in front of them. You had 3 people there. It was a guaranteed double kill.
Gotcha. Okay. And so, like, that's the kind of thing where, like, I can go to unranked and work on that. Just
oh yeah, play like way more aggressive. Oh, here's another time. I mean, your route's already on cooldown. You don't have Twilight, but Apocalypse is up, and you could at least walk in, get some regrowths going, and maybe get a kill. We'll see what happens though. No Apox used. Oh yeah, there it is. Perfect. It's turned off right before the APOC goes off. You have your root up now. This is a great fight for you guys. I didn't see where you used the root. Oh, that's an interesting route. It works.
I think I was like trying for Murden and I missed him, but the Valkyrie pulled.
Yeah, that works. It not where I was gonna place it, but that works. Yep. Here's kind of a small tip that I would give on this map. I want to do a video for this map, particularly for this. So here's the thing. The fort is worth 1,000 experience, towers are worth 500 experience apiece, and you're more likely to win the top and bottom lane if the towers are gone and if the fountain is gone. So if you don't have a fountain bottom lane and they do, they're more likely to win the next dragon. So what I usually recommend, and you can't do this because you're not driving, but if you happen to be driving, down the fort, down the fountain down on bottom, and you'll also get the towers, which will be worth more than trying to go for 2 forts. But yeah, just something to mention, to ping to them, because going for this is just risky, and it's making it harder for you guys to get the next dragon.
Yeah. I agree.
The route there, they have multiple ways to go, and I mean, it's okay because it's making it harder for them to DPS the dragon, but again, just watching mana costs and stuff.
It's kind of a waste. I agree.
I never really liked mid keeps, but if it's free, I mean, go for it. Your position
here I lagged out.
Okay. Lag
yeah,
F? Alright, hold on.
This felt real bad.
Okay. Yeah, this positioning is a bit... I mean, I'm not going to say that Diablo didn't have some awkward positioning as well, but... Yeah, yeah, I'd be pinging away, getting people to go back. These are the times where, like, voice comms are good and everything, but I'm not seeing enough pings. You know, like, sometimes people just need to see a giant flag pop up next to their hero before they're like, oh, okay, I should be out. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I would have just done a route, and I would have walked away. But the Twilight is... You know, this is one of those janky fights where you're like, you shouldn't be fighting, but then like you start winning and you're like, maybe I should have been fighting.
Exactly. It's like, wait, but they're all low. Oh,
yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, I wouldn't have been fighting in there, but it was one of those fights where you thought about it for a second. You're like, should I go back? But yeah, I would get out. Those are, once you took the keep, there's also nothing left for you guys to get. So there's no point
like
staying.
Also like we're up, so like a trade is not favorable for us.
All right, I'm just going to fast forward until you're up because there's no point. You're the star of the show. All right, you're back up. Let's see what's going on. All right, it's pretty obvious where they're going. There's only 2 camps available on the map. I would recommend start pinging your own camp because that's going to be the worst one for you guys to have to deal with. So I think you're going to be too late getting up there anyways, but you guys are ahead. I mean, you could hit 20 first, just soak for 20 if you wanted to. Because they already have that left camp.
Here's like what we're saying on comms. Like we're almost 20. They're trying to bait us into fighting pre-20, and like our Diablo just walks right in.
It's one of those things where you know when like 2 people make like calls, but then like both your teams split because you both made like different calls you disagreed with. This is one of those times where there is a few calls you can make, but the biggest thing is sticking with your group. You know, like I would say right now, I think they already have that camp because they've been on it for a little while. So I don't even think it's worth it. You know, like Zag can deal with that camp, and then or she could just leave if they try to gank her. She can just walk away. I I would honestly just soak bottom and try to hit 20. Soak mid and bot, try to get 20. And then once you're 20, group up and go for a fight at 20. That's what I would do. But if he's adamant and going in, you have to follow up with him. You guys have all your ults, so a good Void Prism into Apocalypse, into Root, into Silence is a free win.
The shrines are gathering power.
Yeah, like I mean, I could be ping and retreat here. Like, there's definitely more I could be doing to communicate.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that
so
fort's
20,
gone. That's a thing. That fort's gone, and Zag can defend the siege from below. So it's really up to you guys if you want to fight this or not. If everyone was there, the problem is like Zeratul mid trying to hit 20. If everyone's there, you guys will win the fight. Like, again, you have a really strong combo. You'll win the fight. It's just kind of awkward of, do you even want to go for it, or do you want to wait till 20 where it's a guaranteed win as well? So Diablo's making the call. I would go in with it. I would, but here's the thing. If they initiate on you guys, you're screwed. If Zeratul initiates, you win. So I would have V-pinged for a little bit and said, wait, Zeratul. Or said in comms, like, wait for Zeratul. Let Zeratul initiate or something. Here's where you guys are in for a really rough time, because you're getting the... I see the Entomb coming in. Entomb, excuse me. I got in trouble for that. Entomb. So your Cassia is likely dead. Now... if they fixed it, Diablo should be able to smash one person into the Entomb and might be okay. What I would be doing right now is I would be backing up just a little bit. You already have a regrowth on Diablo and one on Cassia. I would get one on Zag, and I would back up. My reasoning is because Hanzo Arrow is going to come in, and you don't want to be stunned with it.
This right here is where I feel like I threw the game.
This is a really interesting positioning for you.
Yeah.
Who are you going to silence that's going to be the scariest? Leoric's already used his ultimate ability. So has Muradin. Like, is the silence worth it? Could you get into the
Absolutely
back line?
not.
It's a really weird positioning. I don't know. The root was also a little weird because the root hits no one. So yeah, I would say positioning's huge here, and just waiting on the root. Like, again, you guys have a victory as long as Zeratul lands a good Void Prison. Like, you're forcing a fight that doesn't need to be forced, and you should save your stuff to get out, like to get everyone out of position, or you should save it to follow up a Void Prism. The ice block was very, very premature. No one was using anything. The Muradin already used his stun, so the only person near you when you used ice block was Muradin and Leoric. Neither one of them had anything you needed to ice block. But if you would have used it for the pull, you wouldn't have gotten stunned.
Like, I want to use that after Kerrigan uses Ravage, right?
Like,
when
yeah,
he jumps to me?
Yeah, I mean, that's a simple timing for it. But what happens is, like, you kind of want to use it slightly after Ravage, and right as the first initial claw comes up out of the ground. And the reason why is because if you use it right on Ravage, you're going to get hit by her stun when your ice block is over, even though you didn't even get pulled. So you kind of want to get out of the stun, but then use it right before the pull goes off. It's practice. That's the only thing I can say.
Okay.
And now everyone's dead. I mean, the Void's wasted now. This is one of those things where, yeah, those flags should have been out way before this. Like, that was all bad. Ultimately, the biggest problem that happened in that fight, your micro play was, yes, it was kind of bad, but you weren't the one who threw the fight. It was the Diablo going in before the Zeratul was there. You guys have a perfect combo that's easy to land, yet it's never going off. And you guys gave him level 20. So you should have had those little flag V-pings going the entire time and let Zeratul soak mid lane, you soak bottom lane, and then you guys should have fought at one of the objectives at level 20 while they were 18. And even if Diablo was going in, you should have still been V-pinging and waiting for Zeratul, because there's no way you were going to win without the Zeratul. You have a Zag who's not great at team fights. She can do okay, but you have to think of her ability. She has nothing with CC. Her damage is mitigated a lot by tanks, so she just doesn't have very much. So you can't fight these like awkward fights. You have to always fight the guaranteed Void into Apocalypse into Root into Silence, you know. It wasn't lag, he was mid lane. Oh, maybe that last part where he died. Maybe he lagged when he did the Void Prism. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know. That's whatever. Yeah, and you can blame stuff on whatever. You guys are actually still in on this game. Like there's a good chance you can still win.
we have a keep.
Yeah.
Like,
Deser's first pick's fine. I mean, he followed up with a Diablo. That's solid. Like,
yeah.
I don't really like Azeratul first pick, but at the same time, yeah, that's exactly what you should be saying. Stop it right now. Defend. You know, if you can keep a calm head, you're good to go. You know, you guys are still in this game. You haven't lost a keep yet. I don't personally think mid keep's that valuable, but at the same time, you have it, so can't complain. You're playing this safe, which is good. I would get a little bit closer to the fights, though, just so you can poke with W's and stuff.
Okay.
And again, your E is not something you should just be throwing out because people can still move. You need to be throwing it out in the direction that they're leaving or the direction that they're following someone. Throwing it where they are will never root them. Unless you're in like bronze and people aren't like stutter stepping or anything.
Right.
Or orb blocking, whatever people like to call it these days. Right there would have been an okay time to Twilight because you had Brightwing Murden next to you as well as it still would have hit the Dragonite for a little bit of damage. But no worries. You still have it for another part in the fight. That Apocalypse is kind of interesting. It did hit Kerrigan though. That's interesting. Okay, you have Root. You have Twilight. They only have one direction that they can go. This is a great opportunity for you to Root first, then Twilight. But you're also in a really, really risky spot with not a lot of health. One W that's from Hanzo can take you down by like 30%. So while this is a play that I would recommend practicing in like unranked just to see how well you can do, this is really risky right now. So I want to see. Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting.
I think I live here miraculously, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, quick W's, yeah, that's good. What other abilities did you get? You got, what other talents? Okay, so 13 Ice Block, of course. The only times you don't want to go Ice Block is, I mean, pretty much always go it, but...
if they have, like, 0 dive.
If they have no dive, the build that I like to go is actually Shando's Clarity at 1, and then Revitalize at 13, because then you have infinite mana and super low cooldowns. But... it's very rare that you can do that. And then at level 16, you get Nature's Balance. Again, it's pretty solid. Makes it easier to land your W and allows your Qs to last longer. I think it's a must if you're getting Nature's Cure, just because having your Qs out for longer allows more likely that your Nature's Cure is going to do something.
And quickly about that, like I usually go Moonlit Harmony if I go Wild Growth at 7, because like that my Moonfires extend my regrowths and...
The only time I do it is if both teams are really heavy frontline, because it's going to be easy to land your W's off on the enemies, and your frontline people aren't going to get bursted, so that extra healing is going to be nice. And then Ysera's Gift, there's literally only one time where you should pick Ysera's Gift, which is...
yeah, its win rate is super high.
Okay, and the reason its win rate's super high is because it's amazing in the one time that you should pick it. It actually is like game over if you pick it into the right time, which is if the enemies only have damage over time abilities. So what'll happen sometimes is people don't realize this, but on Battlefield of Eternity, people will sometimes draft Malthael and Sylvanas, as well as like sometimes Lunara, all on the same team. Well, the Ysera's Gift makes your hot so strong that all of their damage over time is mitigated with your single Q healing over time. It's incredible.
Interesting.
But it's like so rare that you can actually pick it. It's only good against like light poke comps as well as damage over time. Okay, so in this situation, he got a really good Void Prism. Apocalypse is up, and you still have Twilight. So... what should you be doing? You should be... oh, you were locked in there and body blocked by your team, so never mind. Doesn't matter what you should be doing because team body block. And I don't know what that was. You didn't have a regrowth on yourself and you didn't use W.
I wasn't expecting to die to the 1 HP Kerrigan.
Yeah. Yeah,
that probably cost us the game.
It That was pretty bad. Because you should have just done a quick. You had all your cooldowns up. You even had Twilight. You had everything up.
Yeah, that just completely caught me by surprise.
Yeah,
there's no reason I shouldn't have had a W on or a Q on me.
Yeah, your level 20 talent is the one that I would recommend. The only time that I would say get other ones. So I get Astral Communion if you're in a full dive comp because you can dive with them. It could work on this comp. That better be a kill. Okay, good. Yeah, and then Life Bloom I only get against a Chromie because sometimes you get people everyone on your team gets really low and you can't heal them very quickly. So because no one's near and everyone's taking damage but you don't have anyone to poke, so I'll get Life Bloom then. But otherwise I like Lunar Shower just because it's more healing, especially if you got the talent that makes your W easier to land. Like
yeah,
of course. What are you doing here? What's your plan?
Know. It's a group up and take one of the shrines. Probably.
It's a good call.
Yeah,
I think that's the best call, but the biggest thing is I feel like there's not a lot of pings going out, and I don't know about voice comms right now, but your goal should be 5 bottom because you've lost the keep there, and you want to be close to there in case they want a backdoor. Or your goal should be 5 people in a bush. Like this is again one of those times that you can make a call out that can help you carry a game, especially as a support. You got to make these call outs. If everyone's in voice comm, this is a time where you want to make a call out that's going to allow you to get a couple kills. So I would use the bushes. I would get like the bottom shrine with just one person, and I have 4 people sit in a bush. So you just ping a bush a whole bunch, or ping yourself in a bush a whole bunch, and just say, hey guys, let's sit in a bush, you know? And with Malfurion especially, if someone walks up to the bush, it's so easy to drop a root either on yourself so they walk into the root, or you drop a root on the other side of them so they can't run away. One person's dead. You can go for a team fight now, or a keep or whatever. But you should be grouping. But when there's no camps up and the objective has time to spawn, this is when you have time to just type to people, make calls, make plays.
Right.
Like these are the biggest differences between someone who's just following in a game and someone who's actually going to try to carry a game. Is the times when you visually can't see anything being done, you should be planning ahead.
And like they're gonna have to rotate bot too to clear the camps.
That's the thing. You can prepare like a camp. Like there's one spot I don't know how to ping, but you know their bush that's like in between their easies and their fort. Like they're going to walk that way, guaranteed. And you can have your whole team walk over there and catch 3 to 4 of them easily. But you have to make the call out quick while they're, you know what I mean? Like, or you're going to be getting the shrine, they're going to clear the camp, and then they're going to walk into the bush at the shrine. You can get a kill there too. Just pick any bush. It doesn't matter what bush you go in. The only people that can really reveal is like Hanzo, which would be frustrating. Or here's the thing about this. I don't know. Your people are so far away. Like, I would recommend trying to root, but you're not going to get a kill on Murden, so I'll just let it go. So I would root so that they can't get out of the apocalypse, and then I would Twilight all of them. I don't know if that's what you do or not. That's not what you do.
I think I did the root thing, but Leo's just using Unstoppable. You know, he's using his E to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then Murden, I think, jumped out before he got rooted, and then Kerrigan's going off.
Yeah, I still would have gotten the Twilight out first, but it didn't happen, so you still have Twilight. You have a regrowth on Diablo, and that's it. Who's your next regrowth going to be?
Cassia.
That's what I was thinking too. And then probably yourself.
Especially since it looks like Kerrigan is focusing her, and I'm going to need to probably get a Nature's Cure.
Yeah, here's another thing too. Kerrigan's used all of her cooldowns. So you're pretty much safe to walk wherever you want. Especially, I mean, Murden Leoric and Kerrigan have used all their cooldowns. So if you don't get a Twilight here now, this is another thing that's really holding you back. But
what's Twilight gonna do here? They're all full health.
It's just a silence. I mean, you get. Here's the thing: if you don't Twilight here, Diablo's dead. Malfurion wants really long fights, and when Kerrigan's ultimate's down, it's a lot easier to get a long fight than when she's got like a boatload of shields and she's. I don't know. I mean, I guess you're kind of right. Like, you could hold it. If you're just using it for damage, it's one thing. If you're using it for the silence, this is the only time you're going to hit 3 people with it. But let's see how it goes. You got a good W, saving your Diablo. You got your Q. And, yeah, everyone's up. You know, I don't hate it. They both had their cooldowns available. Leoric had his slow ready. As well as, I don't believe I saw a Murden Q in a while, so let me just double check. Oh, Murden did use his Q, and then Leoric had his slow available. So yeah, I don't hate this. I like this. I think this one's good. Let me find you again. All right, there you are. You'll get hit by the stun proxy Zagara, of course. You won't get hit because Cassie is going to take it like a champ. Yeah, I mean, W kills Leoric. W auto attack kills Leoric instantly. I would do it while he's silenced. And then your E's not up for a while, so I would just try to keep Diablo up with W's. I wouldn't worry about trying to save him. Honestly, I don't think Murden has enough damage to kill Diablo. So I would focus on just getting more W's off. Zeratul may have just made a really big mistake. I don't know if Apocalypse is up. I don't think... No, it isn't, because they just used it around the Entomb. So... That's bad. You can still kill Leoric with a W and auto, but for the sake of healing your team, I might focus on just Wing Murden because he has the biggest hitbox. And you have a lot of regrowths out. I mean, you have 2, but you can get 1 more on yourself, and then quick W. You gotta get your regrowth out. I'd recommend trying to get regrowths out before you get your W's off. But yeah, I mean, this.
Yeah. It was just such a crazy.
You got to be better at getting regrowths off, especially on yourself. Like, you can't stay in these fights this low of health, and but if you would have just been in those fights a little bit more, Diablo wouldn't have died there. And how can you save her? I don't know if you can. You can get a kill on Hanzo maybe, but you would die to Kerrigan if you got a kill on Hanzo. Your best bet's just to root that little bush and just do a couple W's and see if you can get Cassie out. I don't know what that ice block was.
I think I fat fingered it.
Okay, no worries. It happens. I don't know what that root was.
I must be lagging or something.
I'm guessing
that must have been what happened.
It's either a lag or... I've had a few times where, like, I'll take my hand off my keyboard, I'll put it back on, and they're all in the wrong position. But, yeah, I don't know. That's, don't go back in now. Everyone's dead. You're dead now. Yeah, there's no reason to go back in afterwards. Like, yeah, so there was, like, 2 or 3 things you definitely could have done in that fight. Because Diablo shouldn't have died. You had the heals. The problem was okay, you didn't have a regrowth on yourself, so when they got you low, you got too scared, and you just kind of stayed away. But when you stay away, you don't have enough healing. Like, if you want to play a healer that you can just play like really safe and you don't need to go in, like that's where you want to play like Stukov or I don't know, Lily. You know what I mean? Well, Lily, I still play her really aggressive, so. But yeah, I mean, you just play someone else. You know, it's not worth it. If they don't win here, I'd be amazed. Yeah, it looks like there's only 1 minute left of the game, so Yeah, so really the biggest thing I would work on is draft a little bit differently. Just focus on drafting, because again, if you want to carry as these, you got to get good at all the heroes that are really good at specific maps. Like Stukov on Braxis is pretty much a free win. And there's a few others that are really good as well, but that's just one that's pretty easy to think about. And then like the roots, like you got to work on your roots. Stop rooting where people are, start rooting where they're gonna go. And you move faster than everyone because of the nature of swiftness. So you can always land it in front of someone. Like you never need to just throw it because you're worried that you're never going to get another opportunity, because you move faster than everyone. You get 3 regrowths out, you're pretty much a Lucio. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, and late game you have 4 regrowths on. Like you should never be scared to walk out and like do W's, because you can always walk into a W, walk away. You're moving at 16% of everyone else's movement speed. No one should be able to catch up to you. So yeah, I mean those are your big things. I think your Twilights are pretty good. Maybe even better than mine, honestly. Because I do a lot of really safe Twilights on just individual people, and yours have been pretty good. I think it's just focusing on roots, as well as I would play unranked for a while and just play really aggressive, so you can get used to like what you're able to do with just your Qs and your Ws. Because there's been a lot of those fights where like you could be just a lot more aggressive because they don't have enough damage to finish you.
Right.
But yeah, so I'd say drafts different. I mean, of course Malfurion fits just about every draft, but he's kind of ridiculous right now. You move faster than Brightwing. Like, you could walk. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna say that this is the min max that's gonna do anything, but yeah.
We were calling for him to VP the course so he could focus the dragon, but he got the dragon.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
It's one of those things. There's not much you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think there was about 3 or 4 fights in there that you alone could have made it a victory, and there was a lot that you could have pinged people back. Like that Diablo, he had balls, man. He went in. He didn't care about anything. So those, I mean, it happens, but yeah, I don't know. If I just give you like 3 things to work on, like root better, learn how to play a little bit more aggressive with Malfurion by taking some hits and having a growth on yourself and out healing the enemies, and then just drafting like support mains. Draft is so important, because there's just some, like if you Stukov on Dragonshire, you're going to be in a rough spot just because your one good spread's only going to work half the time, so you don't want to pick that one. You're not going to be able to stack your trait because it's just going to take forever.
But by like the draft, do you mean like my personal picks?
Oh yeah, your personal picks. Like supports are heavily map and team comp oriented. So like Malfurion, for example, I don't actually like picking him unless you have someone who's going to be like diving in their backline all the time. You picked him for Zeratul, so it's okay. But like Tracer is the reason that I usually pick Malfurion. Just because like you toss a Q on her, and no matter where she goes, you're constantly healing her, so she can play really aggressive. So Tracers and Genjis, I'll always pick a Malfurion. But for like a team comp that's still a lot closer, I like doing Stukov, because you're going to heal more than Malfurion, and everyone's closer together. So if you land a root, it's a guaranteed like kill or double kill. So
who do you recommend on this map? Like Rhaegar?
Rhaegar and Uther are my favorites.
Okay.
The reason why is because you're going to be roaming between mid and top a lot, or sorry, mid and bot. So you want to be able to lead to kills, and Rhaegar and Uther lead to kills really easily. And you're also going to be fighting in groups of 2s, which Rhaegar and Uther both are very good at fighting in groups of 2s. Malfurion thrives in groups to 3s, which still works on this map, but And again, Malfurion's one of those. He's good on every single map right now. I'm just saying, as a support main, let's say Malfurion gets banned, you should know the other picks for a map.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's really the thing that I'm getting at. So I'm going to end off this video, and then I'll talk to you for a little bit after that. So guys that watch this, if you want me to coach individual coaching, I can do that with anyone. If there's anything you wanted to hear about this one, hopefully the audio was good for everyone. I know I did a coaching earlier and I couldn't get the audio right. I think I've got that figured out now. So if there's anything else you guys want to add, any comments, you want to give other tips to him, definitely add those. Yeah, thank you.